What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are jumping into Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue number 4. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description, as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. Now, if you've been following any bit of comic book news, you've seen that Superboy has made a huge impression on the world, because in the next issue, we're gonna see that Superboy is actually bisexual. And of course, it's been widely and hugely controversial. And so because of that, we're gonna talk a little bit about that after we get to the end of this comic. Now, if you want to get caught up on this line, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on in this line. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 4, we are picking up exactly where the last one left off, with Superman just taking off, with him no longer around. We see Jonathan walk inside his house, talking to his grandparents, talking to Jay, and it's really hard for him to deal with everything going on right now, because as it stands, his grandparents are acting as if Superman is just going out for the day. People are acting like nothing just happened. But for Jonathan, this really does cut deep, because he's been to the future. He has seen the future where Superman no longer comes back to Earth. That this day he leaves is the last time it is ever recorded that he is on Earth. But Superboy doesn't have much time to think on this, to sulk, or anything else, because right now fault line is falling from the sky. And though no one else in this room can feel it, can sense it in the air, with him having super speed, he sees the building start to collapse slowly, piece by piece. As planks of wood start flying all across the room, we see Jonathan hurrying, trying to save both his grandparents and Jay. Having only a matter of seconds, there is only so much he can do. And with Jay sitting directly next to him, he goes to reach for Jay, but he learns very quickly that he can't touch him. That when he goes to reach for him, his hand goes right through him. And this is where he learns that he has powers, that he is a post-human. And for those that don't know, the post-humans, they were experimented on, individuals in the place called Gomorrah. But Superboy, realizing that Jay can't be hurt, and so he grabs his grandparents and he runs, he hauls as fast as he possibly can, with fault line coming down, with the house going into a giant erupting fire. We see Superboy being able to take his grandparents and get them to safety. Now he does a quick examination of them, make sure that they're okay, make sure there's no broken bones, no lacerations, but he knows what is coming, and he has to get to fault line before they do. And they is referring to the Justice League, because the Justice League, they have a notification if this place were to ever be attacked. It's supposed to be unattackable, but right now that's simply not the case. But the first one to show up is Wonder Woman, and her coming in like a freaking speeding bullet. She comes up to a fault line who is currently huddled up, because she is terrified. She didn't want to hurt anybody, she was used as a weapon, but the Justice League does not know that. And with Wonder Woman getting close to her, she tries to brush Wonder Woman away, but in doing so, she hits Wonder Woman so hard, she goes flying across the state. And with the Flash making his way as fast as he possibly can, Jonathan knows that he has to intercept the Flash before he gets there, before anybody else gets hurt. And so flying as fast as he possibly can, he reaches the Flash just in the nick of time. And he lets them all know that she is not a threat. While she may look like a threat after everything that has happened, after knocking Wonder Woman like she did, this is of no fault of her own, and she is being used right now. And so calming everybody down, he asks Fault Line what happened, because the last he remembers is that they had taken her to Star Labs, but she doesn't really remember what happened. The last thing she remembers is being blindfolded. Somehow she was no longer heavy and she was escorted onto a plane. After that, the only thing she remembers is falling. And so while they try to figure all of this out, with Wonder Woman now back, Wonder Woman says that she'll take on the task of watching over Fault Line to ensure she doesn't hurt anybody else or herself. And so with the situation under control, with everybody calming down, with Jonathan telling the Justice League that he's going to find out who is responsible for this. Now, Jonathan's grandparents, they're not too upset. While the house is definitely destroyed, it can be rebuilt, and all of their most precious items, they had moved it to a secure location. With Superman outing himself as Clark Kent, they knew that this was always a possibility. But with this day being so long, with so much going on, they just want to get out of here. And so with them making their exit, we see a conversation between Superboy and Wally West. With Wally West now being the current Flash, and if you're not up to date on what's going on with that, be sure to check out my Flash issues. I've been covering all of the issues of the Flash. But right off the bat, Wally lets him know, my name is Wally West. We haven't actually been properly introduced yet. Superboy, still being very fresh to this whole Justice League idea, he's wondering why the Flash is telling me his name. But it's because Wally wants him to understand that he can have somebody to talk to. He knows more than anybody what it is like to fill the shoes of your hero. All the little doubts that come with that. The idea that you can't match up to what they were. And so really what he's letting Jonathan know is that there is someone out here that he can talk to. Someone that he might be able to relate to. Not only that, it's also nice to talk to somebody that can think at the speed of light like both of them can. And with Wally West making his exit, this is when Jonathan goes and looks at the destruction that is surrounding everything. This house, this fortress, this is where he grew up. This is the place that he loved. And the second that his father leaves, it's immediately attacked. Something that shouldn't have even been able to happen. But more than anything, they need to talk about the elephant in the room. Because prior to this day, he had no clue that Jay was actually powered, that he had the ability to be untangible. But Jay lets him know that this attack, it's not simply a coincidence. Because yes, this happened directly after Superman left, but it has nothing to do with him per se. It has everything to do with Superboy, with him standing up for those immigrants. President Bendix wants absolutely nothing to do with Superboy. He wants him out of the equation. He doesn't want these post-humans being able to spread the truth that tons of them have been experimented on. This was all an attempt to try to shut Superboy up. But we see Jay make a phone call, calling one of his friends, saying that they're gonna meet up in the skies above Metropolis in 1 hour. And the friends that he called that are gonna meet them is Airy and Wink. Now these two characters, they haven't been widely used. I think the last time we saw them was in DC Comics' Deceased line. But they are here to tell Superboy the truth, to let him know that they are also individuals that were experimented on. They are post-humans. And as they come together, they realize not only Fault Line, but a ton of individuals all across the world have been having these overcharged powers. And it's all because of Henry Bendix. He's lied and bribed and cheated to be the president of a country. And since that day, they believe that Gamora has been creating post-humans, experimenting on unwilling people. And they have come to the conclusion that Superboy was attacked because he protected those refugees, because he stood side by side with them. He got arrested with them. And though they can't prove any of this information, not just yet, Jay believes this is a very big possibility. Now, picking up a little bit later, we have Superboy and Lois Lane, and they are sitting down having a conversation, with Lois Lane going through all of the information that Jay has given them. All of it looks to be pretty solid, but the issue is there is no smoking gun to this. And so with the inability to be able to prove that is actually President Bendix, they're gonna need some more information. They're gonna have to do some more digging. They need to find out who took Fault Line. Who is the perpetrator behind that? Now at this point, Jonathan, he's seen enough. He has seen enough to know that President Bendix is responsible for all of this. While he can't connect the dots exclusively, he knows that he is behind it all. Now Lois Lane, she really comes in with a level head, letting him know that he can't let his emotions get the better of him. He can't go rushing in there and trying to start some kind of international conflict. Though they may have attacked your grandparents, they may have tried to attack you. You have to go in there with a level head. If you're going to confront him, you need to be able to outsmart him. And so, wanting a conversation, we see Superboy make his way to Gamora, and he meets up with the president. And with Superboy making his arrival, the president lets him know that he had been expecting him. Having his people track him, he really didn't believe that Superboy would be this idiotic to show up here. But Superboy is not here for pleasantries. He is not here for small talk. He asks right off the bat, "Are you the one that attacked my grandparents?" Now, of course, he denies all of this, saying that Gamora is a peaceful nation, that there is no way he would attack another nation, let alone Superman. Now, as this conversation goes on, Superboy immediately realizes that he's lying. He can see that his blood pressure is up, his heart rate is going up by a small amount. And that's because the president, he's a great liar. He has had much practice at this, but even Superboy can see that there is lie in here, even if it is a very faint one. And so he got the information he wanted. He just needed to know that the president was actually responsible. He needed that hard, concrete evidence. And now that he has seen, as he was saying this, he was lying, there is no doubt in his mind. And while Superboy could end this right here and right now, he chooses not to. He chooses to walk away. But as he goes to fly away, the president tells them to activate it. Not really sure what is going on, Superboy, he hears a screaming. Somebody is in need of help. And he goes racing, making his way to a facility, ripping the door off. This is where he sees the man from the forest, the one that was burning it all down. Somehow he ended up back here, and Superboy going in to try to save him, to try to help him. It just is way too hot for Superboy. Even with his Kryptonian powers, he is beginning to feel this heat, but he can tell that something is off, something is astray, and almost instantly he gets hit by laser beams from every single direction, because this was a trap set up by the president. It was a trap to get Superboy in here and to be able to blast him. Superboy, realizing that he needs to get out of the situation, with this extreme burning pain, he has to be able to get out as quickly as possible. And so we see him fly right through the roof. Going up into the sky, he finds himself completely overcharged, feeling the strongest that he has ever felt in his life. But something is wrong. He can't control his powers. It feels like everything is just overloading on him. And this is what the president has been doing to all of these post-humans. He has been supercharging them, making them giant deadly nuclear bombs. And with his powers becoming overloaded, he begins to hear everybody's cries, everybody talking, everybody's whispers. With his heat vision going on the fritz, and with Superboy looking like he is about to explode, that is where this issue will end. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so the elephant in the room, Superboy Jonathan Kent is now bisexual. And I know there's huge controversy over this. Many people are not happy about this, while many people are very enthused about this. Now, my personal thoughts is I don't mind it. I don't mind Jonathan Kent being bisexual. I think my biggest issue is that this is 5 issues. This is a miniseries. I would really like to see their professional life build up. Both Jonathan and Jay, to see their friendship really be able to blossom before we jumped it into a relationship. Well, yes, I know some relationships are spontaneous, sometimes it just happens. I feel like it's almost just a bit rushed, especially with everything that Superboy is currently going through. I don't feel like this was just the right time to be able to introduce something like this. You know, if Tom Taylor had gotten maybe 10 issues, I could definitely see that being played out. Heck, even 7 or 8 issues to really just, you know, build up their relationship, build up their friendship, build up that professional courtesy they have with one another, and then eventually move in to them kissing, so on and so forth, dating, whatever have you. But obviously that's not the route they took, and honestly, it's okay. I'm not the writer, I don't write for DC, that's just my personal opinion, but I don't think it's a bad idea. It's definitely more of a representation of the current generation, because if you go to any college right now, you go to any high school right now, most of the younger generation have been exploring different sides of their sexuality when it comes to being bisexual, trans, whatever the case may be. And so this is really just highlighting how the generations have changed. Now, it definitely may not be your cup of tea. It may be, who knows? You love it, you hate it, what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Some comic books just aren't for you. But overall, I think this story has been really great. It's really seen the struggles of Jonathan going through as his father leaves, up to the moment his father leaves, and then everything that happens thereafter. Now, we will be covering the Shazam line, and be sure to check that out because it's going to talk a lot about what the future is going to hold. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.